the pagan converts took over Christianity and they spoke in Latin or Greek. The Latin translations at that time became standard for the Roman Catholic Church, became prevalent, and became the only Christianity religion per se that was in existence during that time. The YHWH became a IHVH. And at the time, the vowels, which was equivalent to the Y, which came to the V, had the sound of the W. The capital I soon grew a tail. And it added a modification. And this modification was populated by the Dutch printers who printed out some of the English Bibles. And YHWH began to appear JH, VH, which came to be Jehovah. My brothers and sisters, listen to me. Now, even the Encyclopedia Britannica, Volume 10, says it this way. Yahweh, the personal name of Eli, are the Israelites, the Mezorites, the Jewish biblical scholars of the Middle Ages replaced the vowel sounds that appeared above or beneath the consonant of the YHWH. They placed like a little period instead of writing out the vowels because they didn't have vowels. And thus the artificial name Jehovah came into being. Now, although Christian scholars after the Renaissance and Reformation, and after those periods used the term Jehovah instead of Yahweh, in the 19th and in the 20th century, biblical scholars again began to use the name, once again, Yahweh. We hear now more of the name Yahweh than we ever had. And we use it in this church because that is the true name of the Father. Yahweh was never lost, my brothers and sisters. And Greek translations also indicate that Yahweh, a YHWH, should be pronounced Yahweh. Yahweh. Now also, let me show you something else. And it's something else that I found out in my research and study that'll blow your mind. I mean, it just happens, and this what really bothers me. Even the Jehovah's Witnesses, today, my brothers and sisters, acknowledge that the name Jehovah is improper. They ain't going to tell you right out, but they had a book entitled, Let Your Name Be Sanctified. And that book freely admits on page 16 and 18 that Yahweh is the superior translation of YHWH. They admitted that Jehovah is not the name of the Father. But you know what happened? So many people started looking at the book until they took it off the market. It's no longer available that you can go and look it up into stores, but it can be looked up on the internet. They also, my brothers, have what they call their kingdom interlinear translation of the Greek scriptures. And on page 23, this is what they say, and I'll quote. The Jehovah's Witnesses are saying this in their kingdom interlinear translation of the Greek manuscripts. They say, while inclining to view the pronunciation Yahweh as the more correct way, we have retained the form Jehovah because of people's familiarity with it since the 14th century. Moreover, it preserved equality with other forms, the four letters JHVH. They admit that it's wrong, and they're still using it. What does that tell you about that religion, about that denomination, or whatever you want to call it? That's the problem, my brothers and sisters, I find out with the world today, and a lot of teachings and a lot of people following man-made doctrines. They know that they know what they're teaching you is wrong, but they still teach you anyway, because they think that you're so stupid or you're so ignorant that you don't want to change, and you want to still follow the lies they've been telling you all your lives. It's time for a change. Amen. Yahweh says time is running out. Amen. And we must get this thing right today, or we're going to be left behind. And there won't be no excuse when you stand before Yahweh and say, I didn't know. Because we're telling you the truth. The only thing you have to do is listen, my brothers and sisters. Jehovah is not the Father's name. My brothers and sisters, we are to walk in all truth. And as we're given that truth, then we're given more light and enhancement of who the Father is and what he really wants us to do. You know, in Mark, if we look at Mark 7, it tells us, and it says this: howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrine the commandment of men. Forget about what Yeshua taught. Forget about what Yahweh wants us to know. Let's follow what men are saying instead of the truth of the Scripture. This mistaken Jehovah is said to have been given in about 1518 by a guy named Peter Galatian, who was confessor to Pope Leo X at the time. And today the name is still being used. Jehovah. My brothers and sisters, it don't make sense for us to continue to use erroneous names for our Father when we know it's a lie. Now, what I'm trying to tell you, my brothers and sisters, and understand, I'm not just speaking out of the top of my head. I'm not just saying something to be saying it. Sister Naomi is the most fluent person I met in Hebrew will tell you what I'm trying to show you. And it's not only her or me, but if you look at the strong, exhaustive concordance, you will prove and you will see what I'm saying. That is not coming from me. Now, I know a lot of us don't read Strong's. A lot of us don't know how to read strong concordance, because you got to know how to put it together. But it's almost a necessity for gaining a deeper understanding into the original language and what Yahweh wants to know. Now, we're not going to get too deep into this, but hopefully on our Wednesday night Bible study, if you come to Wednesday night Bible study, you will be taught not only the true biblical meaning of words, but we're going to teach you how to use strong concordance that you might look them up for yourself. This is what we're talking about when we talk about a Bible study. His name, my brothers and sisters, is Yahweh. And it's a holy name. That name, if you really think about it, is the essence of the Hebrew word of existence. His name actually means he exists because he chooses to exist and bring all things into existence by speaking them into existence. Yahweh, Yahweh, my brothers and sisters, is one defined as one who will be whatever his people need for him to be. He will be our helper. He'll be our deliverer. He'll be our provider. He'll be our healer. He'll be our guide. He'll be our strengthener.